was not impressed by much. Carcedial finished his tea and handed the cup to an attendant, then placed his hands palm down on his knees and stared out to sea. Orts began to think that he was being purposefully ignored when he heard a commotion behind him. Another person, wrapped in chains similarly to Orts, was dragged up to the forecastle and thrown to her knees. Then another was brought up, and then another, until 6 men and women knelt before Carcedial. Orts examined his companions. He only recognized 2 of them, but all 5 were covered in inky black tattoos, their bodies hard as granite. They were like him. 6 dragon men, all in one place. "This is an auspicious gathering," Orts said softly. Carcedial finally turned his head, sweeping his gaze across all the prisoners. When he spoke, his voice was gentle, forcing Orts to strain to hear him over the creaking of the ship and the squawking of the gulls. "Do you know what you all have in common?" They were all dragon men, but Orts suspected that was not the answer Carcedial sought. Orts looked one way, then the other, at his 5 companions. The woman to his left had long, dirty red hair that covered most of her face, but he remembered the scar across her left eye. Her name was Jikanari, and 7 years ago she desecrated a Bonai temple for reasons he never learned. The man to his right, willowy and small of stature, was named Ji Matl. 9 years ago he was assigned to guard one of the Emperor's cousins, whom he bedded. No one spoke up, so Orts cleared his throat. "We have all disgraced ourselves in the eyes of the Emperor." "Very good." Carcedial stood up, and Orts couldn't help but smile at how old and frail he looked. He could snap Carcedial like a twig, if not for these chains. Carcedial noticed the smile, and his brow wrinkled. He took a step over to Orts. "Tell me, dear Orts, what was your crime?" Orts closed his eyes, thinking of the last few years spent in his dungeon, all that. Every movement restricted, always watched, like a prize dog gone rabid whose masters could not bear to put him down. "I did not bow during an audience with the Emperor." "And why did you not bow?" "Because he is not my Emperor." Carcedial gave an almost grandfatherly sigh and gestured toward the shoreline and the city on the plateau. "The civil war is over. Your false emperor is dead, and the governments of both sides have reconciled. We have turned our wars outward, as is proper, and we have come to Fatrasta to reclaim land that was once ours. We have come to find our God, and we have done so together, united." He sighed once more, shaking his head like a disappointed teacher, and Orts found himself annoyed that after all he and his companions had suffered, Carcedial would treat them all like children. "Why are we here?" Orts asked. Carcedial looked down at him, a hint of disgust in his eyes, then raised his hands toward the chained dragon men. "You have all disgraced yourselves in the eyes of the Emperor, and your positions as dragon men prevent us from spilling your blood. Every one of you will live long lives alone in the darkness, left to rot away." "Or?" Orts asked. He could smell it now, the scent of an option, a way out. He tried to think of what he knew about Carcedial. The Car was a driven man, cold and thoughtful, but given, from time to time, to rage. He'd built his power by destroying or subjugating all that opposed him. He was a man who did not take no for an answer, and did not leave any enemy standing. Annoyance flashed briefly across Carcedial's face at Orts's interruption.